Good morning. It's Sunday, March 29th, 2020, and I want to share with you the last Christmas present that I got from my friend Michael. Um, Michael and I were very good friends in Chicago. We met in the early 1990s when we were both founding members of the Pink Angels in Chicago. The Pink Angels were a anti-violence street patrol because there was a lot of gay bashing going on the north side of Chicago in the gay neighborhood they called Boys Town around North Halsted Street and all. And it was happening in many cities across the country in the 80s and 90s and all, as LGBT communities were making real progress in obtaining civil rights. There was a backlash to that, and one of the ways it was expressed was violence directed at gay people on the streets. So Michael and I were among. We weren't the only ones. We worked collaboratively with a group of people for to form the Pink Angels, and that's how Michael and I met. And we became very good friends. We worked together at Howard Brown Health Center. We traveled together. We made a long car trip from Chicago to Florida where I went swimming with dolphins with my friend Bill Deneen. And uh, when my landlord died, I had to find a new place to live where I'd been living in Chicago. And Michael, his roommate, had moved out, so he had a vacancy in his apartment up in Uptown. So I moved in with Michael in, I think it was September of 1994. And Michael had been living with HIV for quite a few years, and I think he managed it pretty well. But by the time I moved in with him, he was becoming more and more symptomatic with a wide variety of opportunistic infections, and he participated in clinical drug trials for what became known as the cocktail. It was a combination mix of antiretroviral medications, which helped extend the lives of millions of people living with HIV. Unfortunately, Michael, even though he participated in those early drug trials, he wasn't really able to benefit from them very much because his immune system had been already been so compromised for so very many years. So I remember I moved in the fall of 1994, and I think it was in December. Michael had been hospitalized and in Chicago, and the doctors released him from care because there wasn't anything more they could do for him. So, so he came home, and it was pretty clear he needed a whole lot of support. We had nursing help at home and all, and he wanted to die at home. So we made those arrangements, and lots of support. People showed up, his crazy family and family of origin, family of choice, and all. And it was pretty clear that Christmas was probably going to be his last Christmas. So I thought to myself, oh my God, what do you get someone for their last Christmas present? And I thought, well, I don't think I want it to be something special more than, a sweater or socks or underwear or whatever. So I thought to myself, what would Michael enjoy more than anything else? Well, Michael, before he had HIV, was a young, vibrant, homosexual who enjoyed sex very, very much. And I thought, well, we'll get him one last good orgasm, before the lights go out. So there was a magazine in Chicago, Gay Chicago magazine. And in the back of the magazine, there were these ads for massage therapists. So I called one of them and I explained the situation, that, my roommate was very ill, and but as a Christmas present. Well, it turned out this young man that I was speaking with, I don't remember his name, Skylar, okay? I don't know. Anyway, he said he was a medical student and he was, working as a massage therapist, um, to pay for his medical school training in Chicago. I said, "Oh, okay, well, I mean, would you be able or willing to come to our house on Christmas morning and be Michael's Christmas present?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, no problem." So I made arrangements for that. I gave him our address and arranged the fee. And so on Christmas morning, we got up, Michael and I woke up and all, and we're having breakfast, and the doorbell rang. And I said, "Michael, why don't you answer the door?" And so Michael hobbled to the door. He was, you know, pretty weak and all. And so he opened the door, and this beautiful young man was standing there. Young, young, young man. And I said to Michael, "Merry Christmas, ta-da." And I put on my coat and I took the dog out for a long, long walk while Michael and Skylar played together and all. Well, about an hour later, I walked the dog along Lake Michigan and all, and I came back. It was cold that Christmas morning, I remember. And I came back and they were in the bathtub having a bubble bath. And so they finished up and all, and Skylar got dressed and went on and all. And Michael was thrilled. He was so happy. And he got on the telephone and he called some friends and he said, "You'll never guess what David got me for Christmas." So I was really happy that he was happy with that. And later that day, we were sitting downstairs in the lobby of our apartment building, waiting for somebody to pick us up to take us to a Christmas party. And Michael said to me very quietly, he said, "I think I'm going to be ready to die soon." And I said, "Well, Michael, we love you and support you and whatever you choose to do. Um, and 6 weeks later, Michael was gone. So that was his last Christmas present. Be fabulous.